one of the things that I've found is this enhances accountability all over the place.
$4,000 in 48 hours.
This is James. He's the people we paid $40K for to help organize the business. So there you go.
Well, so here's what I want to do. I want to get everybody together. I want to set some some outcomes for the next couple days. I have a very strong framework for how we're going to move about the next couple days, but this is custom for you guys. So like, this isn't just, hey, me just talking at you guys for 2 days. This is highly interactive, like sitting down with everybody on the team, getting things out of their head into the new systems we're going to be putting into place. One of the things that I put as optional, but if you guys are up for it, I think it would be really advantageous, is after we're done today, if everybody can take this quick personality profile, and that will help everybody see what everybody's strong at and like how they naturally fit into the roles that we're asking them to do.
If you hear me call him Trillstein, that's his like roll letter's name. Like his name is Mike.
So the reasoning behind that, we were in Amsterdam. We came up with this name in Amsterdam at the airport. And he just said, Mike, what's your last name? I was like, really? He's like, yeah, what's your last name? I said, Grossman. It's like, all right, so it's Jewish, but it's not black enough. So we need to make it.
He's like, it's not black enough for me.
So we got to make it part black, part Jew. When I think of you, I think of Trill, combination of true and real. And in honor of all the Rothsteins and the Weinsteins, it's that Steen at the end of it. And now
Money
most
sign.
of our business partners and collabs think my name is Trillstein.
They do.
Yeah. None of them know my real name.
I think that actually confused me. I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was like, yeah, well, maybe I got his last name wrong. Because I didn't remember it exactly, but I didn't think it was Trillstein. But I was wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was wrong. I forgot.
You were misled.
I was. I want to sort of share some high-level strategy and theory, and I was talking with Brandon and Brian out on the deck about this, and how the reason why this works. And it's not something that I really was able to articulate until somewhat recently. I just knew that it was working. I was like, why is this working so well? Because we've had such an extraordinary amount of success with this program. And first of all, it started because as organized and everything is, you may think that I am, I needed these structures for me first. So I used to work in really big companies, and just telling somebody earlier, I had an office here in the city when I first left, and we did great. I was very fortunate. We did a couple million in sales in our first year, but it was high-level consulting. I was working with selling consulting back to big companies and big projects and stuff like that. And then I started working with smaller companies, and no matter what I did, I was like, man, there's just more time. There's not enough time in the day to get everything done that I need to get done. And on top of it, I'm always finding myself being like, hey, Alex, like, where are we with this? Or, hey, Brandon, like, what did we decide to do about this? And just like constantly, and the more sales I brought into the company, the worse this problem got. Right? The bigger the company was growing, the more sanity I was losing. I was like, this is not a good trend, right? Because I want to grow my company, but now I'm faced with the choice of either don't go out and sell anything else, which doesn't help me grow the company, or lose more sanity and more sleep. And neither one of those seemed like a really good alternative. So I said, okay, I need to figure this out. And this was a big part of me breaking from the corporate world into running my own business, because in the corporate world, like, I had 70 people working for me, and like, I didn't even know all of them, right? And like, I would just be like, hey, I need this done, and somehow it got done. And there were systems that were already there in place for me, and so I was just, barking orders all the time, and shit happened. And then when I left, I was like, man, like, nobody's doing anything without me telling them to do it. Like, what's happening here? And I felt like all my support structure was gone. And so over an 18-month period of time, I hired and fired 6 operations people. And every one of them that I hired, I was like, okay, I know you're the one. I know you're the one. You're like Neo, like you're gonna come in and you're gonna save everything for me and you're gonna organize it. And I was like, I want a system that helps me understand where everything is, who's working on what are projects, all this stuff that's going on. And they just didn't do it. And I was like, man, like, is this really that hard? And so, fired the first person. I was like, oh, maybe that person sucked, or maybe they're lazy, or maybe they just weren't smart, or whatever. By the time I got to like the 5th or 6th firing in 18 months, like that's how like I just like it was like a revolving door. I was like, all right, you know what? This is a major problem. Obviously, me just like pointing at people and telling them to fix it isn't working, and I need to really figure this out. So my long ago background, I studied aerospace engineering and systems in college. That's what my background is. I was like, okay, I just need to build a system. I need to build a system that meets a certain specification. I need to just architect this thing so that it works and gets everything done. And a lot of trial and error on different software tools, right? There's all these project management software tools that exist out there. And if you read the sales copy on all of them, they're like, oh man, if I get a free trial for this, my company is going to be golden, right? And so I tried all of them. I tried Trello a long time ago. I tried Basecamp. I tried Asana, Google spreadsheets, and some of the lesser known ones like Depulse and like everything. When I tell you like I become obsessed about solving a problem, it's true. And so after my work day was done, figuring out the system was my nighttime job for about 9 months. And so I tried all these different tools and I was like, man, it's not the tool. Clearly it's not just the people, because I just got done firing 6 or 7 people that were supposed to do this. What is it? And I realized that the system is really the combination of 3 things. What I had mistakenly been trying to do was believe that the solution was one of these things. Right? I thought, oh, well, it's Basecamp. Basecamp is like what's going to send this thing to the moon, so it's a tool. Or it's this new person that I just hired. And it wasn't. And okay, well, if I tell everybody we're going to have a weekly meeting, then maybe that'll fix it, right? But that was just process related. And it wasn't until I recognized that there's 3 things that have to work together. And so this became my new definition of a system. It's the people plus the process plus the tools. The vast majority of our time will be spent getting things out of your guys' heads.
We have like another team. It's not like part of, they are, but they like handle a lot of our Facebook, like all our Facebook advertising and like our ads, and they help with product development and like they're kind of like the second leg. I mean, they do other stuff too, but is it better to just focus on this core team? And like they're more like they're business partners, like but how do I put it? I don't even know how to explain it. Like we have certain projects that we work on and that we partner on. I don't know how that, them not being here, will that affect us in a negative way? Or
I think so. Here's what I think. We'll get the core of this set up with this group here, and once that core is set up, then we'll radiate outward. One of the things that I've found is this enhances accountability all over the place. Human beings are not very good at remembering lots of things. That's why phone numbers are chunked into digits, like 334. That's about the capacity that we have to remember stuff.
There's a saying that goes, what got you out of Egypt is not what's going to get you to the promised land. So what that means is what got you to this place you're at is not necessarily the same tactics, actions, you know, the things you did to get where you are aren't necessarily going to be the things that get you to where you want to go. For example, I think back in the day, my whole strategy, and you guys heard me say this before, like when we were on the rise trying to come up, man, yo, man, kick in the door, shoot everything that moves. Just kick in the door, 2 guns up, shoot anything that moves. And that worked for a long time. That got us to where we are now. You know, that got us into a good spot. You know, I think there's something about that. Well, there's something about that. Like what we lacked in skills, what we lacked in tactics, we made up for with just raw effort and you know, hustle, grind. Now, there comes a point of diminishing returns with that. Because if you're going 100%, well, you can't go 110%. You can't just keep going. And what we've run into, what I noticed happening is, like, the hustling, grinding is not always enough within itself. So what we've done is I called these guys in, these consultants in. Man, these guys are pros. They worked with like some of the best people. They helped. They worked with Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels to help him organize his organization and all that shit. And so they come highly recommended. And we paid them $40,000 to come in and help us like really organize our shit. You know what I'm saying? Because instead of kicking the door, shoot everything that moves, that's a massacre. And that's cool, but it's chaotic. It's chaotic. It's stressful. It's hard to maintain that level of intensity. It's hard to maintain that level of intensity. So what we're doing now is they're helping us organize shit, put all our ducks in a row. And now instead of a massacre, it's an execution, right? We line up all the victims and hit them all one by one. But prior to that, it was just a massacre, man. It's a goal. We just run in the fucking, like the goal would be like the room that we run into and kill everything in the room. Like, you know, that's the goal. That's how we accomplish all our goals. Now we're lining shit up, man. We're lining shit up, and instead of a massacre, it's the execution. And the reason we want to do that because it's less stressful and it's more predictable, right? When it was just a massacre, shit was hard to predict, man. Shit was volatile. You never really knew what was going to happen. Well, I had an idea what was going to happen because of my skill level, right? The level of mercenary I am, you know, I knew that everything would be fine, but it's still stressful and it's difficult to scale a business when you're operating like that. So we really need to just organize. And that's something you guys should take from this, man. Organize. Like when you get to a certain level, you got to organize. It might be beneficial to just fucking go balls out and try to accomplish shit initially, right? When you get to a certain level, man, you got employees and there's a lot of moving parts, then you're gonna have to really organize and be more tactical. You still go 100%, but it's still more tactical because you're gonna get to a point where you hit a wall. You hit a ceiling with that, which is just hustle, just hustle. But organized hustle is the next level, and that's what we're working on now, and that's what you're gonna be seeing over the next few days. And that's what I want you guys to try to incorporate that in your lives, man. Like, don't just hustle and walk around randomly like a chicken with his head off. Make it an organized hustle.